Krishnapada Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhayeva Cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. So welcome you all to another session of Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. So we will take a quick recap of what we did yesterday in the chapter Dhyana Yoga. So who is going to sum up the points? Hare Krishna. Rohini Mataji, are you there? Or Satyanand Sahu?
I am.
Yeah, okay, Mataji. Please sum up what we did yesterday.
Okay, I don't know the sequence, but I can tell in between, like
Sure.
taking little bit of reference so that it is in order. And
Yes.
so basically, one question I have, but I will ask that after that. So it was mentioned that in order to be connected to the Supreme Being, we need to focus, like focus all our senses and devotion towards the Supreme Being, so that we can just uh, get detached from this, because the mind is like that, one has to get the mind is our mind is like that, that we need to have something to get connected. So in order to get away from all the these kind of gratifications which we are means just like illusion, these are in our materialistic world. So the one of the way is bhakti yoga, and um, the definition of sannyasi, like it's not important, no sorry, not necessary, because it has to do from inside, not from outside. Like someone is living away from home and just left the home for the sake of showing others, but from inside that person is not detached from this world. So it's not of any use. But if any person is in grahast ashram, and even then that person is too much too much systematically following the things, no more inclination towards the materialistic world, so that person is also a sannyasi in a way. Like there is no restricted definition of it. It has to do with the person's mindset and intention.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Actually, Ashtang Yoga or Dhyan Yoga, which was the chapter yesterday, is a mechanical process of connecting with the Lord. So all these yoga processes are for the purpose of engaging the mind 100% in service of Lord or connecting to the Lord. So for this, one has to control the mind and the senses. So any yoga process is meant for this purpose, to control our mind and yoga process in mind and senses. And just like Mataji just now said, um, that mind is very strong and it always has to be engaged in something. If we leave the mind, idle, then it is going to go towards sinful things. So, but right engagement is required. That is what is akaram. Akaram means that action which does not have any fruitive reaction.
Yeah.
So now the entire yoga process, right from, karma yoga to bhakti yoga. And in the last chapter, Srila Prabhupada also explained the yoga ladder. That is how gradually from animalistic life, we move on to, regulated sense gratification. That is karma kand. The karma kand, all the rituals which are mentioned in the Vedas in the karma kand section, they deal with sense gratification, but regulated. You want to enjoy, please enjoy by offering the results to the demigods. And then later when a person realizes after, enjoying for so many births, why am I here? What is the purpose? You know, that is when he starts inquiring. But to come to this stage, one has to be sufficiently purified. You cannot come to this stage without purification. And for this purification, the Lord Krishna, he has designed the Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma is like the word of Lord, a systematic way of leading our life, as per which if we do our prescribed duties without desiring results, we will again be free from reaction, because we are doing all this on the order of the Lord. So prescribed duties are not supposed to be given up till you are completely purified of material desires. So till then you have to, do your prescribed duties without any fruit, without any desire for food. That is known as
Selfless.
nishkam karma you are supposed to do. You are supposed to perform your duties as an offering to the Lord. And then when you get purified, you come to the stage when you inquire, who am I? From where have I come? Where do I have to go? What is my connection with this world, with the Lord? And then you inquire for knowledge. And now when you are sufficiently purified, you will be able to understand the transcendental knowledge or Jnana Yoga. So Jnana Yoga mainly deals with the, you know, uh, difference, or it tells us about what is matter and what is spirit, what is the difference. But just knowing what is matter, what is spirit is not enough. It is not sufficient to understand God. So how, even if you know what is matter and what is spirit, what is the use, how will it help you in your practical life? So it will help us in making choices. So the Lord has explained the three types of work, that is karam, vikaram and akaram. So work as prescribed in the scriptures, sinful work, and work without any fruitive reaction. So out of these three, sinful work should never be performed. For those who are not able to, get over sense gratification, they must perform karma as per scriptural injunctions or prescribed duties, till they come to the level of akaram, engaging in work which has no fruitive reaction. And this work, akaram, means that 100%
Not audible.
is it better now?
No, yeah, now it's
Okay. So akaram has to be performed. Now this akaram, working without any reaction, yes, Prabhuji, it comes in the ladder. So there are two ways to of coming to Krishna consciousness. First of all, you must be in the right knowledge, and only then you can make a choice as to what activities you will be engaged in. It is all about controlling the mind and the senses and engaging them and just remembering Krishna, connecting to Krishna. So Ashtanga Yoga, you need not, it can be a gradual progression towards Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, but one can also directly take to Krishna consciousness if he so desires. So even some people, they based on our past conditioning, we get attracted to Ashtanga Yoga, but even through Ashtanga Yoga, you will gradually come to the platform of Bhakti Yoga. So we can directly take to Bhakti Yoga, or we can gradually go up. That is our choice. So now at the end of chapter 6, the Lord has declared, that out of all the yoga processes which he has uh, so far explained, Bhakti Yoga is the highest. This is already being declared by the Lord in shloka number 6.47. So now, since this is now this coming 6 chapters, that is chapter number 7 to chapter number 12, we are going to discuss this Bhakti Yoga in detail. So first 6 chapters, we come to know how to link to God by different processes. We come to know what is the purpose of life. And in these 6 chapters, we will learn the greatest Guhya Gyan, that is topmost knowledge of, Bhakti Yoga. So we will start with chapter number 7. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Junjam Manashaya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gnasasi Tasrinu. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in the full, free from doubt." So the purpose of all Vedas, everything which is there, knowledge that can be, is to know Krishna, is to know God, is to know what is our relationship with him. So now that, oh, here Pratha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me. Bhakti Yoga means you are fully conscious that the Lord is a person and I have a relationship with him and I have to connect to him in this relationship. Earlier, first you are, you don't know what has to be done, so prescribed duties are recommended. Then when you get knowledge, jnana, you come to realize that now I have to engage in duties, but with Krishna as center. That is the purpose. So working in knowledge and working without knowledge, they are two different. Nishkam karma is offering the fruits of your work to the Lord. And Bhakti Yoga means doing everything for pleasing the Lord. So here the Supreme Person, Lord Sri Krishna, is now telling how to perform Bhakti Yoga even without Arjuna asking for it. Normally the Lord has answered, all the questions when Arjuna asked. But here the Lord is himself explaining this topmost knowledge to Arjuna. So he says, one should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms. So what is Bhakti Yoga? So I will just sum up that this Bhakti Yoga consists of 9, processes which you can take in devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Nivedanam. So these 9 processes are summed up as the different ways we can connect to Lord. And there's a systematic way that we progress on this path. So the first here is Shravanam is the first and most important. Shravanam, Kirtanam. So how? How any learning process, whether it is material or spiritual, the way we gain knowledge is through hearing. Even when we are reading a book, actually our mind is hearing what we are reading. It is absorbing. So hearing is the first step. How do you develop a desire or love for something? When you hear about its glorification, like somebody comes and tells you Australia is so beautiful, there are kangaroos there, it's a beautiful city, this is there, this monument is there. So what happens by hearing this glorification? You develop a desire to go to Australia. And here we have to develop a desire to serve the Lord. How does this process begin? It begins with hearing about the Lord. So that is why it is recommended that we hear, Srimad-Bhagavatam is glorification of the Lord and his devotees. When we glorify or we appreciate something, they say, you become what you like. So how these likes and dislikes develop? Because of hearing, because of our association. So most important, the Lord therefore says, Arjuna, tas shrinu, hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to hear from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart, puffed up with academic education. Why you must hear from a devotee? Because suppose I have to give you 10 rupees, right? So for that, how can I give you 10 rupee when I don't have 10 rupee note? Isn't it? So to give something to someone, first of all, I should have it. And in our scriptures, it is there in Isopnishad that the Lord, he reveals himself only in the heart of a devotee. Just by reading books, just by, gaining knowledge everywhere like a computer, you cannot know God. Even the Devi Devtas, even Brahmaji cannot understand God. That is what is there. So how does one understand Lord? Now, the devotee has love for God. He has faith in God. So only he can give you that. If you are going to go to a non-devotee, he neither has love for God, he neither has faith in Lord. Can he give it to you? He can't. So one must learn this from a pure devotee of the Lord. What do you mean by pure? So we have to be purified. So somebody is purified at the level of karma kand, somebody is purified at the level of karma yoga or nishkam karma, or somebody is purified at the level of jnana yoga. But till we are 100% purified, we have to hear and constantly hear. In the Srimad-Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the second chapter of first canto as follows. The second chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam, canto 1, is the summary of the entire Srimad-Bhagavatam. The entire process of a soul gradually elevating oneself to the perfect stage of loving Krishna is described. How one comes to the level of developing love for Krishna. Shravattam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridaye antasto alabhradani vidunoti sruitsatam nasta prayashu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki tada rajastamo bhava kama krodasya yaye chaye चेत एतर अनाविद्धं स्थितं सत्त्वते प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्ना मनसो भगवद् भक्ति योगता भगवत् तत्व विज्ञानं मुक्त संगस्य जायते विद्यते हृदया गन्ति छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशया क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एवामनीश्वरे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. So, and for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge as he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees. He becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by the devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severes the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamshayam samagram, understanding the supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead. So this is the way, by hearing. So that is in even in Bhakti Yoga there are stages like Adhau, Shraddha, Sadhu Sang, Bhajan, Kriya, Anarth, Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, then Prem. There are stages. How we progress, even in Bhakti, there are stages. So it begins with Adhau Shraddha. How does Shraddha develop in us? Only by association. Without association, you'll never know, you'll never develop any Shraddha for God. So the primary step actually, Adhau Shraddha, you may have some inclination, but that is strengthened by Sadhu Sang, your association. Especially the devotees of the Lord, because they love Lord, they can give you the love of God. 2. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. This is the highest knowledge that can be, because you are coming to know what you are, who you are, what is the relationship with God, and how you have to strengthen that relationship, and you will also know how you have to work accordingly. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The phenomenal world, the spirit, behind it. So the phenomenal world here, the Lord is explaining that the knowledge about the spiritual sky and even the material sky and the cause, the spirit behind it, from where they are coming, that is complete knowledge. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes become known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing remains unknown. When you know what is the cause of this entire creation, there is nothing to be known. Why that suspense we always have is somebody is trying to guess how this universe has come into being. A bang must have taken place. Something, some theory, because we are inquisitive by nature and we need to know the cause. So when you know the ultimate cause of everything that is there around you, your knowledge is complete. Otherwise, you are in darkness. You are still contemplating how this happened, how this came, from where I have come, why this is happening. All these questions will come. But when you know who is the cause of all causes, all your, inquisitiveness will be, it will be satisfied. 3. Out of many thousands amongst men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So even after liberation, perfection here is referring to getting out of the cycle of birth and death. But even of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So only a devotee, who is in love with God. That is why they say, even amongst the devotees, Srimati Radharani is the highest. In fact, so much love she had for Krishna that Krishna, to understand her love, as a devotee, he came in the avatar of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the golden avatar. His color was also golden like Radharani, Srimati Radharani. So he could not understand the bhav that the devotee, the joy that the devotee is experiencing in relation to him. So the devotees, love is something which attracts even Krishna. Like, they say, that there are so many millions of living beings. The Krishna doesn't have time to know who is what. He is actually, the meaning of the word Krishna is all attractive. Everybody is attracted to him. There is no one who can remain, if Krishna is there, unattracted to him. In Vrindavan also, everybody was attractive to him. But Krishna is attracted by bhakti. Bhakti is that stage, the highest stage of love for God. And Krishna is attracted to that. And when one develops this kind of bhakti, Krishna willingly wants to serve that devotee. That is the strength of bhakti. There are various grades of men, and out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in the transcendental realization to try to know what is the self, what is the body, and what is the absolute truth. So, one out of millions, one may be inquisitive to know. And if you are here in this class, you are all very fortunate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narad Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in the society without understanding, because we try to manufacture knowledge, we manufacture different types of knowledge. You see, every year some new degrees come up because you have come to know something new in the material world. They keep changing. So whatever is changing is temporary. The actual definition of absolute truth is that which does not change. So our relationship with Krishna cannot change, and that is mentioned in our Shastras. That which does not change is actual knowledge. It doesn't change. Whether it is now, 5,000 years ago, 5 million years ago, after 5 years also, this our relationship with Krishna will not change. Maybe the circumstances might change. So now we come to 4. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti astada. So translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, all together these 8 constitute my separated material energies. So they say that if you want to know Krishna, you must know about his energies. You cannot know about a person without knowing about his capabilities, right? So if you want to really know God, you must know what are his energies. So here Krishna is telling them that earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego are my external energy. They are my material energy. So these 5 comprise together comprise of the Mahatattva, or the material sky. For material creation, Lord Krishna's plenary expansion assumes 3 Vishnus. The first one, Maha Vishnu, creates the total material energy known as the Mahatattva. The second, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, enters into all the universes to create diversities in each of them. The third, Shirodakshay Vishnu, is diffused as the all-pervading super soul in the universes and is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. Anyone who knows these 3 Vishnus can be liberated from the material entanglements. So what is possible for us, we think, is also possible for God, but God is beyond us. So see how he expands. So he's telling everyone that even this material energy that you see around you, this Mahatattva, and all the elements, I am the cause. It is because of me. And he's telling about the 3 Vishnus here. That first it is, the Garbhodakshay Vishnu enters into the universes to create diverse. First it is Maha Vishnu, total material energy. Actually Karanodakshai Vishnu, he is lying in the causal ocean, and he is the cause of all causes. So just by his breathing, thousands, when he breathes out, thousands of universes are coming out of the pores of his body, they say. And when he breathes in, all these universes are getting destroyed by getting inside the pores of his body. So just by his breathing, millions of universes are coming, millions of universes are disappearing. Karanodakshay Vishnu. Then Garbhodakshay Vishnu is when he, enters for procreation. He enters the material sky for procreation of, and he creates all variegatedness through Brahmaji. By inspiring Brahmaji, he creates all different varieties of life, different varieties of plants, and everything. And when he has created all these living beings, all animals, insects, he enters each one of them as Kshirodakshay Vishnu or the Paramatma. Anybody who understands these three Vishnus will know what is the cause of our universe. 5. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material nature, inferior nature. So this inferior energy or material energy is known as the Bahiranga Shakti of the Lord, the external potency of the Lord. And beside this, we have the internal potency of the Lord, Srimati Radharani, who is in charge of the spiritual skies. And in between these two is the Tataksha Shakti of the Lord. Tataksha means, Tat means actually the shore or the bank, Tat. And the living entities are in the middle. We are the Jiva, that is the marginal energy of the Lord. So we are in the middle. Tat Astha Shakti. So we are a combination of spiritual and material energies both, actually. The body is material, the soul is spirit. And we have the choices to make, whether to go on this side or that side. We are in the middle. So because of our attraction to the material three modes, we get bounded in the material world. But if we develop the same attraction for the spiritual world and desire for the, because desire is the, guiding factor here. If we develop the same desire and attraction for the spiritual world, we will go to the Vaikuntha sky. So that the whole process is how to, transfer this attraction from material world to the spiritual world. We are in the middle. 6. All created beings have their source in these two natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. So he tells Arjuna, because if we don't know about something, we cannot develop attraction for that. So it's very important to know these wonderful qualities about God. And then, we come to be attracted to him. We are in awe of him. We want to serve him. This is the process. Everything that exists is a product of matter and spirit. Spirit is the basic field of creation and matter is created by spirit. Spirit is not created at a certain stage of material development. Rather, this material world is a manifested only on the basis of spiritual energy. Now the Lord is telling the relationship between material and spiritual. So he says that actually the spiritual energy of mind, that is only the cause of the material energy. From spiritual energy, only the material energy sprung. How? So we desire to enjoy independently of Krishna. That desire has to be materialized. And to materialize that desire, these Mahabhutas or these Pancha Mahabhutas they are created. So first is ether, most subtle. So ether, it ether makes it possible for us to perceive sound. And then comes air, less subtle. It helps us to perceive sound and touch both. Then you have fire, third Mahabhuta, in which you can experience sound, touch, and form also. You can see now. And then you have water. In water, you can hear, you can feel, you can see, you can taste also. And earth is the most perfect gross manifestation, which has the qualities of all. You can hear, you can touch, you can see, you can taste, you can smell. So because we desire, all these senses are formed, all these Pancha Mahabhuta and the respective senses. So for smelling, for hearing, you have ears. For touching, you have skin. For seeing, you have eyes. For tasting, you have tongue. For smelling, you have nose. Gyan Indriyas come into being. So desire is the cause of everything. And we are on Tat. Here Tathastha Shakti is not mentioned, but the jivas belong to the Tathastha Shakti. That later the Lord will say. So all the beings have their source in these two natures. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So he explains there's all these planets you are seeing, all this wonderful creation. Just like, you don't, when you see a necklace of beads, you cannot see the thread which is holding the beads together. It is hidden. Like that, you cannot see me, but everything is resting on my energies, which you cannot see. So 8. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon. The syllable Om in Vedic mantras, I am the sound in ether and ability in a man. So here, the Lord, because he understands that, it is beyond, a material conception to know God. So he's explaining that I am the cause of everything. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink sea water because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste. And this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The taste in water, the heat in the sun, everything that we see around us, the ultimate cause is the Lord. If he had not provided us water, our thirst would never be quenched. So he has facilitated everything for us. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Because if you come to know that everything is energy of Lord, you will never forget him. You will be able to relate, this is because of Krishna, that is because of Krishna. And that is the criteria for getting out of here. Always remember him, never forget him. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion, and so the knowledge of Krishna is liberation. and ignorance of him is bondage. Because we forget this relationship with him, we are embodied. I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am the heat in the fire. I am the life of that all that lives. I am the penances of ascetics. So he's explaining to Arjuna, Vibhavasu means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories. In fact, we have fire in our body also. Without that heat, the fire in the stomach, we can't even digest food. So we see everything actually is running and you see it alive because of Krishna. Had all these things not been there, you wouldn't even be able to digest your own food. A person who knows, about human body can say the kidney is working or that, but there are millions of animals on our planet. All these functions are going on in their bodies also, even though without their knowledge. That is how the Lord is facilitating us. 10. O son of Pritha, know that I am the original seed of all existences, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of the powerful man. So even our intellect is because of Krishna. It is just that because we make wrong choices, our intellect gets polluted by the three modes of material nature. Bija means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are various living entities, movable and inert. Birds, beasts, men, many other living creatures are moving. Living entities, trees, plants, however, are inert. They do not move, but only stand. Even entity contained within the scope of 84 lakh species of life, some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. Everything is because of him. We cannot perceive him because we are in a contaminated stage. 11. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. A strong man's, this will come. I am sex life in which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of Bharata, O Arjuna. The strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for personal aggression. Similarly, sex life, according to the religious principles of Dharma, should be for propagation of children, not otherwise. The responsibility of the parents is to make their offspring Krishna conscious. So they say, one must never become a king, a guru, or a parent if you are not able to elevate your dependence in Krishna consciousness. Because the entire purpose of human life is to come to the stage of realizing God and serving Him. So this is the responsibility we all must have. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. Even the three gunas, these Rajogun, Tamogun, and Sattvagun, which are there in the material nature, are created by me. He is declaring it here in Bhagavad Gita. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I'm everything, but I'm independent. I'm not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. So Lord is declaring it here that these modes of material nature also, with which the Maya, with Durga Devi is controlling you, they also have been created by me. And I have made her in charge of these modes. And she keeps, piercing her trishul with these. Deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. The whole world does not know me. So because we are conditioned, because of our past association with these three modes, we cannot know him. Why? Because he is transcendental. He is beyond the three modes of nature. Who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So every a living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body and a particular type of psychological and biological activities accordingly. So based on our conditioning are our likes and dislikes, and the choices we make in life is influenced by these. So indirectly, these modes are acting behind all our activities. So if you really have to change your activity, you must stop this association with these modes. That is the process. So there are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc. And each and every one of them is under the influence of the material nature. All of them all of them have forgotten the transcendental personality of Godhead. So the whole process is to revive who we are from where we have come and what we have to do. I have to just take this. 14. This divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. It's a very key memory verse here. Devi esha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prabhadyante mayam metam tarantite. So on based on our energy, we cannot overcome these three modes of material nature. The attraction for the material world is so strong that even when you are sleeping and you smell something good, your nose immediately gets attracted to it. It's like that. And it's very difficult to get out of this attraction. But those who surrender to the Lord, those who don't depend on their menial efforts, they depend on the Lord. The Lord very easily takes them out, because then you're depending on his energy, his capability, not yours. And Lord is like uh, bigger than the biggest. There's nothing, even material energy is nothing before his strength. So people who depend and surrender to the Lord, they very easily, just like water in a calf's hoof print. It's just a small pothole, just jump over it. So this big sea of material world becomes like that small pothole. So this is the secret. Inferior material energy is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will, being conducted by the divine will. Material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestations. The Vedas confirm this as follows. Mayam tu prakritim vidyan mayinam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya, illusion, is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. Sweta Svatara Upanishad 4.10. So Srila Prabhupada is quoting here. So here he's further explaining, Srila Prabhupada, that another meaning of guna is rope. It is understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion, or these three modes of material nature. They are like ropes. Because we are punished, we have to be punished because of our independent desire to enjoy. We are tied up. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be held by a person who is unbound, because the bound cannot help the bound. The rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of illusionary energy, can order his insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. So, because the material energy is like a servant to Krishna, if Krishna says release him, no matter how strong the chains are, how big the lock is, it will open in a moment. All you need is his mercy. That's all. And this entire process of devotional service is to get that mercy. The words Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna, Vishnu only, and not anybody else. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost in level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnations of Rajoguna and Tamoguna to release the conditioned soul from clutches of Maya. In other words, they are everybody in the material world, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. So Mukunda is another name for Krishna. Mukunda means the person who can grant mukti. So only for a person who has the authority to grant mukti can give us mukti. Others can't. They may give us some, benedictions, but they cannot. Indra cannot release us. Um, Lord Brahma cannot release us from, cannot grant mukti. He can give some other boon. But mukti is not in their jurisdiction. Mukti only Mukunda can give. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are the lowest amongst mankind. No, where am I think. Yes, now, here now, the Lord is going to tell us from this shloka onwards about people who don't surrender unto me. The whole life they go on worshipping something else, they manufacture something and do, but they never surrender to Krishna. And what is their psyche like? There are four such people. So here it is in this shloka number 15, the Lord talks about these miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are the lowest amongst mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So here there are four types. In the shloka you will see Namam Dushkritino Mudha Prabhadyante Naradhama Maya Aparita Jnana and Asurim Bhavam Ashrita. So first one is Muda. Muda actually means ass. Donkey is also referred to as Muda. And it's a very foolish animal. So it means foolish. So people who are foolish, who don't know the actual purpose of life, they don't surrender unto me. Second, Naradhama, Prabhadyante Naradhama. Nara means human. And Adhama means lowest. So I had told you earlier also that there are 4 lakh species of human beings based on their spiritual elevation. And the topmost is Aryan because he knows the actual value of human life, where it should be utilized. So people who are in the lower spiritual understanding, they are considered lowest amongst mankind. They don't know. They are as good as animals. They only have the propensities of animals, that is eating, sleeping, fearing and mating. Bhay maithun ahar nidya. Beyond that, they cannot think. Then Maya Apaharit Jnana. So people whose knowledge is stolen by Maya. Maya apharit jnana. Lowest amongst mankind, Maya, by the illusionary energy. Then fourth one is Asuram Bhavam Ashrita. That is atheist, demonic, Asuram. So these demons, they always think they are gods. They don't acknowledge God only. They are atheistic, like Hiranyakashipu. They think they can handle everything. They don't need God for anything. The Gita answers this question very frankly. Those who are really learned leaders of the societies like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila and Kaumaras, Manu, Vyasa, Devala, Asita, Janaka, Prahlada, Bali and later on Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, and so many who are faithful philosophers, politicians, educators and scientists, etc., surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, the all-powerful authority. They acknowledge that God is the cause of all causes. But everybody does not. So here, the first one, Mudas are those who are grossly foolish, the hard-working beasts of burden. They work hard foolishly the whole life. They don't understand. They say, our beauty, our intellect, knowledge, our money, everything comes because of our previous activity. Why is it that some person, like, even a laborer, he works very hard, you see. The donkey, he works very hard. They are very systematically working, but they are still in poverty. Why? Because of their spiritual elevation. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor themselves and so do not want to part with them for the supreme. The typical example of the beast of burden is ass. This humble ass is made to work very hard by the master. The ass does not really know for whom he works so hard day and night. He remains satisfied by filling his stomach with a bundle of grass, sleeping for a while under the fear of being beaten up by his master, and satisfying his sex appetite at the risk of being repeatedly kicked by the opposite party. So they work very hard and they think that if they work hard, they will get happiness. So why this example is given, in olden days, the washermen, they used to have these donkeys to carry all their burden. And to attract the donkey, what they used to do, they used to have a stick, on the forehead of the donkey, and they would tie a carrot to that stick. The donkey would see that carrot the whole day and it would not understand, and it was always walking forward with so much weight on its body, thinking that now I will get that carrot, now I will get that carrot. It does its entire day's work without even realizing. He doesn't even have the intelligence to look around in the forest, that there is green grass, fruits, vegetables, all around the forest, they are there. He doesn't even need to work so hard for the carrot, which is not even within his reach. So that is how they think that they will work hard, be very systematic, very regulated. So sometimes they spend sleepless days and nights for fruitive gain, and although they may have ulcers or indigestion, they are not satisfied with practically no food. They are simply absorbed in working hard day and night for the benefit of illusionary masters. Ignorant of their real master, the foolish workers waste their valuable time amongst serving mammon. So, I think the corona has taught us that what we need and what you want are different. And they are working hard. In fact, actually, all those things that we want to buy, which we don't need. You have actually worked hard for the person from whom you are buying that thing. Your hard work for what you need is okay, good, justified. But your hard work for thing which you don't need, just out of ego you want it, that is foolishness. Because there's so many such activities, we work so hard to earn money for that, maybe to please others or to show off. Actually, we don't need it. We don't need it. The second class of Dushkritana is called Naradhama. Naradhama means lowest of mankind. So this I have explained to you. The civilized form of life is meant for man's reviving the lost consciousness of his eternal relation with the supreme truth, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is all powerful. Whoever loses this chance is classified as Naradhama. They don't understand that we have to evolve. This human mirth is, they don't acknowledge this. He prays to the God for deliverance and promises to worship him alone as soon as. So in the womb also, you see, we are in miserable conditions. We pray that, oh God, get us out. We will, never want to go in another yoni again, garbh, womb again. It is such a horrible condition. But as soon as he comes out, he forgets everything. He forgets about the purpose of life. 3. Dushkritina, Maya Apaharit Jnana. So these people are materially highly qualified. They create wonderful material things, technology, and all these inventions, the knowledge they apply to, making this material world a better jail. But ultimately, they are not able to solve, they don't understand or acknowledge the problem of birth, death, old age, and disease. So far, no technology has come to again revive a dead person. There is no technology which can create, an embryo. Maybe you can have test tube babies, but you need the sperm and the ova, which is naturally made by God. You cannot manufacture even a bacteria. Maybe you can mix breed them or something like that. So life comes from life is a very nice book by Srila Prabhupada, that how we think we are the controllers, but actually we are not. So they are very advanced materially. They are highly educated, and in the name of education, they create misery for others. Just look at the atom bomb. So many such inventions are there. I recently read, that the pineal gland is responsible for all our metabolism. And this pineal gland, it works only in dark. It does not work in light. When your lids drop, then it starts working. So I was thinking that when the electricity or the bulb was created, people were glorifying it. And today that bulb which is lit in the night is the cause of so many diseases. Now it has been researched that because your lids, there is no darkness, there is light always, the pineal gland doesn't work. And it is responsible of throwing toxins out of your body in the dark. So when we sleep in the dark, all the toxins are released from our body. But because we are exposed to light even at night, this pineal gland doesn't work, and in course of time your entire body is filled with toxins and come so many diseases. So this Maya Apaharit Jnana is people who try to change the nature, they do lot of research work, but ultimately they don't like air conditioners, smoke factory, the ozone layer is depleting. So this is known as Maya Apaharit Jnana. In the name of education, they are, their intelligence is taken away. They don't see the actual benefit of everyone. 4. The last class of Dushkrita is Asuram Bhavam Ashrita, those of demonic principles. This class is openly atheistic. Some of them argue that Supreme Lord can never descend upon this material world, but they are unable to give any tangible reasons as to why not. There are others who make him subordinate to impersonal feature, although the opposite is declared in Gita. Envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the atheist will present a number of illicit incarnations manufactured in the factory of his brain. Such persons, those very principle of life is to decry the personality of Godhead, cannot surrender unto the lotus feet of Lord. They don't acknowledge the presence of God. Common sense, even if you see a needle with a small hole, you cannot say that it has come into existence just by a blast. An intelligent person will know if there is a needle, there is a manufacturer to it. Somebody has made it and somebody has thought about it. There is a creator. This is intelligence. Now, if somebody says this needle has just come, just sprung up from nowhere, what will you say? So they are openly atheistic. Now in the coming shloka, the Lord is going to talk about the 4 people who come to him. Chaturvida bhajante mam jnana sukritino arjuna artho jignasu artharthi jnani cha bharata sarva. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O best among the Bhartas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and one who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. So here now the Lord is going to talk about which type of people come into his devotional service. Artha, Arthati, Jigyasu, and Jnani. Arth means one who is miserable, who is facing some misery out of some misery in life, he becomes so dukhi, he goes to the Lord out of his problems. And Artharthi means for wealth, like you see Dhruv Maharaj. He wanted a kingdom as big as the kingdom, bigger than the kingdom of his father. And so he performs severe penances. But where does he go? He goes to God. He doesn't go to any agent. Because he is guided by Narad Muni, he goes straight to God. So in the earlier shloka, the Lord said that, I will tell you the shloka number also. Deluded by the 3 modes of material nature before this, it was mentioned that, people who go to the demigods for worship, they do not know, they do not know that I am the original, person. It's very important to clarify this. Anyways, we'll move ahead. So these 4 persons, they come to the Lord. They come to the Lord, the Artha, Artharthi, Jigyasu, and Jnani. So who is so out for money they go, like Dhruv Maharaj went for a kingdom or some material benediction. Then you have Jigyasu, the inquisitive. They want to know what is happening, what is the truth behind this world, why I am born here. So such people also they go. So at this stage he's better off because he does not have any personal demand. Jigyasu also. He just wants to know, that's all. That inquisitiveness is there. And Jnani is a person who has now understood that God is the source of everything and I have to establish my relationship with him. And so he goes to the Lord. So all these four, they are Sukritinas. Now what is the meaning of the word Sukritina and Dushkritina? So these four people have Sukriti. No one comes into, realizing that God is the ultimate truth. At least these four categories have realized where to go to, the correct place they have come. They have not gone to some rich person in the society or some Devi Devata to fulfill their demands. It is there in our Shastra that there are 33 crore Devi Devtas who are in charge, they are authorized agent of the Lord to see the administration of the material world, the Mahatattva. They are in charge of various posts. They have been given powers. So they are powerful representatives of the Lord, but they are not Bhagavan. They have to be respected, that Lord has himself said. But one must not think of them to be the cause of all causes. Here in Bhagavad Gita, he is telling us who is the cause of even these demigods. They have all come into being because of me. So I am the seed giving father. Now in 17, of all these, the one who is in knowledge, who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. Of these four Sukritinas who have, Sukriti is not a benediction, Sukriti is mercy actually. Without this mercy and the Sukriti to go to God can be given only by two people. One is God himself and two is a devotee of the Lord. Why? Because I told you, because they have love of God, they can give us the love of God. If somebody doesn't have the love of God, how can he give it to us? So of these, one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to him. He is talking here about Jnani. Tesham Jnani Nitya Yukta Eka Bhaktir Vishishyate. So of all these four people who come to me, the Jnani is the best, for he is always engaged in my devotional service and I am very dear to him and he is also dear to me. So Lord is attracted by a person who in knowledge, Jnani, performs devotional service, activities accordingly. So here, he who is situated in pure knowledge of the transcendence of Supreme Personality of Godhead is so protected in devotional service that material contamination cannot touch him. A person who is in devotional service, like I gave you the example of Ambarish Maharaj, even though he did not desire, the Sudarshan Chakra just went off Lord's finger and he went after Durvasa Muni to kill him. They are protected. Ajamil, another example from Srimad-Bhagavatam. He was very sinful, though he was a Brahmana earlier, because of doing living with a prostitute. Uh, he the Yamadutas came to take him at the time of death. He was very old. But once some sages they visit his house and he serves them, some sages, And while going, they say, you ask for a benediction. So he says, I don't know what is my betterment. You give me a benediction which will help me. So they are very intelligently, they say, when your next son is born, you name him Narayana. And this Jamil is very fond of this son Narayana. And when he is about to die, this son is 7 years old. At the age of some 86 or so, he's had a son who's 7 year old. Just imagine what kind of a person he is. And he does not actually call God. When the Yamadutas come, he is actually calling for that son whose name is Narayana. Narayana, Narayana, come, come. He is able to see the Yamadutas. And when unoffensively he is yelling out for Narayana, the Vishnu Dutas come there. Because anybody who unoffensively chants the name of God in any form, he is under the protection of the spiritual energy of the Lord. So the Vishnu Dutas, they come and they fight with Yamdutas and they drive them away. And the Yamadutas are so shocked. They go to Yamaraj and they say, nobody in the world disrespects us like this. I mean, even the most powerful of king, they shiver when Yamadutas go. That is the fear personified, We are like that. How could we be insulted by this? So Yamaraj tells them, sorry, wherever you see devotees of the Lord, please do not go. They are not in our jurisdiction. There's a big chapter in Srimad-Bhagavatam about this. Please don't go there. Don't touch the devotees of the Lord. They are not in our jurisdiction. They are under the superior energy of the Lord. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental loving service, he is sure to attain me the highest and most perfect goal. So out of all these Sukritinas, Artha, Arthati, Jigyasu and Jnani who is in knowledge and who engages, he is sure to attain. The other three categories, they are also in devotion, but they are still contaminated. Somebody is desiring to get out of misery, somebody wants money. So that means they still have material desires in them. Somebody wants to know, Jnani, Jigyasu. He wants to know. He just wants to know. He doesn't want to serve. He just wants to know. So only when you come to understanding that you have to serve, you are purified. So how gradually the progress will take place, we will see. Bahunam janmante jnanvan mam prabhadyate vasudevam sarvamitim sa mahatma sudurlabha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes. And all that is such a great soul is very rare. This purification process continues for many, many births. And one who is sufficiently purified, only he understands that Vasudevam Sarvamitim, that he, the Supreme Lord, is the cause of all causes. And such souls are very rare, O Arjuna, very few. So people, who give up everything for service of Lord, they are very rare. Somebody will be worshipping Indra, Chandra, they will go to Lord Shiva. Like I think there was one demon who went and he asked for a boon to Lord Shiva. That on whosever head I put my hand, they should burn to ashes. And he wants to, after getting the boon, Tathastu, Lord Shiva says, and he wants to try that on Lord Shiva only. And Lord Shiva had to run because that person was foolish. Maya apaharit jnana. He has got some power. He wants to misuse it. So like that, to understand that he is the cause of causes, you need sufficient purification. So here now we come to shloka number 20. Those whose intelligence has been stolen away by material desires surrender unto demigods. This is the shloka. I'm so sorry. 7.20. And follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Kama sthir hita jnana prabhadyante nya devataha. The word here. Please read the translation. So here the Lord himself is saying, those who are freed from all material contamination surrender unto Supreme Lord. Even the four Sukritinas, they are better and engage in this devotional service. As long as material contamination is not completely washed off, they are by nature non-devotees. But even those who have material desires and who resort to the Supreme Lord are not so much attracted by external nature because of approaching the right goal. They soon become free from all material lust. So why do we have material desires? Because of material lust. And because of the lust, we agree even to pray to any powerful person who is ready to fulfill our desire. Lust is so strong. Ravana, for example, biggest example. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Atmalinga he had. Chaturvedi. He knew all the ritual yagyas in the Vedas. All the Vedas he knew by heart. That was his memory. He was a Brahmana again. But why he got killed? Because he did not realize Vasudevam Sarvamitim. Impure state. Too many material desires. I want a big kingdom. I want that Pushpak Viman which my cousin brother Kuber has. So that is why he perished. He did not realize, even after reading the Vedas so many times, he did not realize that Vasudevam Sarvamitim, Lord Ram is standing before him and he kidnapped his wife. So like that, their intelligence is stolen away. 21. I am in everyone's heart as super soul, and as soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. So our faith also is actually granted by God based on what desire we have. Like somebody wants to have a very good husband and they are praying to Uma Devi or Durga Mata, they do fast. And so the Lord who is in our heart, I explained to you in the last chapter that there are three doers. The person who desires, the Jivatma who desires, the Lord sanctions, and the Prakriti or the material nature arranges for all the facilities to fulfill that desire. So when a Jiva desires, I want a beautiful husband, so the Lord thinks, okay, then he should be praying to Goddess Durga. Let me make his faith strong so that his desire is completed. Nowhere I see the desire in him to come to me or to serve me. So, ye yathamam prabhadyante. As you approach the Lord, that way he reciprocates as per your desire. So if somebody still has material desire and he wants to worship somebody powerful, the Lord makes that faith strong. So therefore, he gives everyone full independence, whatever one likes, but his ultimate instruction we find in the Bhagavad Gita. One should give up all other engagements and fully surrender unto me. That will make a man happy. Sarvadharman parityage mamekam sharanam raja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshisyami ma shucha. Leave all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. I will deliver you from all the reactions. This is a promise which is made 18.66 Bhagavad Gita. So both the living entity and the demigods are subordinate to the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the living entity cannot worship the demigod by his own desire, nor can the demigod bestow any benediction without the supreme will. As it is said, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Generally, persons who are distressed in material world go to demigods. As they are advised in the Vedic literature, a person wanting some particular thing may worship such and such a demigod. For example, a diseased person is recommended to worship sun god. There are so many demigods, 33 crores are there, in charge of so many departments. So they don't have water, go to the water department, Varun Dev. You want to have children, then please go to Uma Devi, and then or Shiv Bhagwan. So Shiv, Lord Shiva. Actually, they are very powerful entities. In fact, Shiva, Lord Shiva is considered as um, very close to the qualities of Lord. They are highly respectable. But when we are talking in Bhagavad Gita, we are not talking about any relative purposes. We are talking about the ultimate purpose of human life. Relative goods are many. 22. Endowed with such faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtain his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Now, Varun Dev, he is in charge of the water or uh, water department in the material world. Who has supplied that water to him? God. He has filled this big drum of water and given to Varun Dev. Please take a mug and give to whosoever is eligible. Okay, but who has given him that authority? It is the Lord. So ultimately, whatever even the demigods are providing us is because of the Lord. No one else. That he is explaining to him. Why Arjuna? Because if we don't understand God, we will never be able to love him and serve him. That is why God is telling everything about himself to Arjuna. 23. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods and their flutes are limited and temporary. Alpa medhasa of small intelligence. Alpa means small. Medhasa means mind, intelligence. Devan Deva Yajoyanti. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods. But my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So please remember that our mind is the ticket to our destination. Whatever we desire, that we will get. So if you desire to go to the planets of the demigods, the planets of the demigods are in the material sky. And even in these planets, the four miseries, that is Janam, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, are there. If that was not so, why would Lord Shiva fear for his life? Though actually the Kailash, Mount Kailash is beyond the material sky, the original Sadashiv is different. He is eternally situated there in service of Lord. But those who worship the demigod go to the planets of the demigods, whether it is Swargalok, Brahmalok, Satyalok, uh, anywhere you go. If you desire, you can go there due to your pious activities, but they are temporary. As soon as your pious activities are over, again you will come down. You will not transcend the material sky. You will not get rid of Janam, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. That is possible only when you get out of the material sky and enter the Lord's abode. So whatever anybody desires, I give him that. So those who desire worship the demigod go to the planets of demigod, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Mad bhakta yanti mamapi. So Shiva, in the Srimad-Bhagavatam, it is stated that Brahmanas are the head of the Supreme Lord, the Kshatriyas are his arms, the Vaishyas are his waist, the Shudras are his legs, and all serve different functions. Regardless of the situation, if one knows that both the demigods and he himself are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, this knowledge is perfect. But if he does not understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigods reside. This is not the same destination the devotee reaches. So all these planets of demigods are in the Mahatattva. The Mahatattva is created at a certain time, and again it is devastated also. Dissolution is there. So anything which is temporary is material. Eternal is only the Lord's Dham, his abode. That is eternal. 24. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So here the Lord is talking about those who think that Lord is impersonal. He's some energy and he does not have a form. He does not have an abode. He is just Brahman. So these people, they because they conclude the Lord's identity in the wrong way, they don't reach their destination. And Lord is cautioning here. Those who are worshippers of demigod have been described as less intelligent, and here the impersonalists are similarly described. Lord Krishna in his personal form is here speaking before Arjuna, and still due to ignorance, impersonalists argue that the Supreme Lord ultimately has no form. So this is not correct. It's like insulting God. Can you think that the Lord's creation or his children, we, can have something which God does not have? Is it possible? Can somebody give the answer? Can we have something more than God? Is the question.
No.
No. So we have a form. We have a form, isn't it? You can see your form, you can touch me. How is it so that God doesn't have a form? Can he be lesser than his creation? Everything is there in God, he has clearly explained. Can we have something which God also doesn't have? God doesn't have a form. Many people say that. He's just an energy. It's not possible. So here Lord is clarifying that the Lord has a form and it is described in the scriptures in detail. 25. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. So I am unborn. Lord doesn't have to be born like us, go into a yoni, go into a womb, go through that 9 months, 10 months, whatever is the time. No, he can appear and disappear at his will. He is not under the stringent laws of nature. He is beyond that. Just like a king, he makes a jail and he puts all the prisoners in a jail. And one day he says, let me go and inspect the jail. He goes in the jail and he inspects. But does that mean he's criminal and he is in the jail like other prisoners? No. Even when he visits us in this material world out of his love, he is not under the influence of the material modes. So I am never manifest to the foolish. So people who are polluted, they say Narad Muni, he was in the previous birth a Dasi Putra. Actually, it's a long story, but in short, when in his next birth, when he is in knowledge, he performs severe austerities. He is not able to realize who God is. He's trying. He learns the process from some devotees, from some self-realized people. And at the end of the penance, almost he just gets a glimpse of the personal form of Lord. This is there in Srimad-Bhagavatam. And when he sees that personal form, he's so attracted, and again he disappears. Just one glimpse the Lord gives him. So, and after that, the Lord tells him that now you have to further purify to relish that form. When Narad Muni had to purify, where are we? How to see that form, that beautiful form of Lord, which is described in the Shastra. 26. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all the things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. Why we don't know? Because we are limited, we are Anu, and he is Vibhu, unlimited. So we cannot know him. Now suppose there is a 1 liter bottle. Can it store 1,000 liters, maybe 1 lakh liters, and here God is unlimited. So the Lord reveals himself only in the heart of the devotee. We know only as much as he wants to reveal. In Isopnishad, last 2 shlokas, this is what the Lord says. That when I'm pleased with somebody's devotional service, I reveal myself to him in his heart. And then that person is able to relish the Lord's personal form and love him. And he enjoys great pleasure. So, even if able to realize impersonal Brahman cannot realize Sri Krishna as the Supreme Person, certainly the transcendental body of Sri Krishna is not perishable. So people cannot understand these leelas of God. 27. O Scion of Bharta, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arisen from desire and hate. So people, we are born in delusion. To understand love, we need to understand hate. To understand light, we need to understand dark, the opposite. This, our material world is the world of duality. On the absolute plane, there is only good, there is nothing bad. In material world, of relativity, we see this is good, this is bad. This is good for me, this is bad. There nothing is bad because everything is for Krishna. How do we judge good or bad? For me, what is good? That is good. For example, um, one person is praying to God, a thief, goes to the temple, says, God, give me a nice rich house where I can perform dacoitry. And when a rich person comes to praise to God, he says, oh God, protect my money from thieves. Okay. So both their goods are different, opposite. This is the world of relativity. But what is the common good of the thief and the rich man? that they all, get out of the cycle of birth and death. That is the ultimate truth. So these relative goods don't matter. These dualities are born because of our association with the material nature. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So people who are now convinced and whose past reaction, material desires are all cleared, they with determination, no matter what comes in their way, they engage in the service of Lord. They are in Gyan, they have understood. So intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of material manifestation of demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So people see, knowing and realization are two different things. You may know that, uh, uh, sun is hot, you may know, but you will not realize till you have experienced it. Once you have experienced the heat, that knowledge is got into your consciousness. That experience has got into your consciousness. That is realization. So a person who is in full consciousness of me and he has realized that that God is the governing principle of everything. When that see, even at the time of death, it remains inside their consciousness. They don't forget God ever. So one has to come to this state of purification. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport to the 7th chapter of Srimad-Bhagavad Gita in the matter of knowledge of the Absolute. So we've come to the end of this chapter today. Any questions or comments? Mataji, today Rohini Mataji was there in the chanting session. I was so happy to see her. So I have to leave early because I have to make arrangements for the class. Thank you for joining, Mataji. Deepika Mataji was not there. I didn't see her.
I have not received the link for the same.
You have been added to a group.
Acha group, but I am not finding that any group on my WhatsApp. I will check it again. I will check it again because
please, because Rohini Mataji she was added to the group. And see, everybody, joins at their comfort level. Some people join early. I prefer to join early. Some at 5:30, 5:40, depending on their engagements at home. But when you join, even for a little while, you will get that spirit.
I wanted to experience that only. That's why I will check it. But I'm on my WhatsApp. I have not received any link.
I will send that link.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thanks. Hare Krishna.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
any questions? Any comments?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Mataji.
I had one question regarding, keeping your child's name in the name of God.
Yes.
Like, because when I was in school, one of our teacher had told that you should never keep your children's name as God's name, because if you are angry, then you will call Vishnu, come here, or Krishna. You can't, means you have to respect the God's name, so you can't angrily use his name and all, and do all that. But then now and even afterwards I had heard that, like you said, the story of this person um, got moksha because he called Narayan his son's name. Uh, though I mean that way. So, what is your take on this?
Yeah, ma'am.
Mataji,
On the same thing, I have to add one thing. Like, we put Sia. Sia is the child name. So, like people says, usko uske tarah itna dukh milta hai. So, is that correct? The same question with Rashmi ma'am has.
Mataji, whenever you have this, doubts in mind, you must consult three sources. You are getting knowledge from some teacher, somebody on the road has told you something. Now, how will you find out that this knowledge is correct or not? So you must consult three sources: Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. The Shastra is the basis. The Guru should speak the same thing, the Sadhu should speak the same thing. If it is not there in the Shastra, it cannot be accepted. So our vision changes because of our conditioning. So somebody must be in some conditioning to think that way. We cannot blame him. But whether we accept that information or not is our choice. So always consult the Shastra. In the Shastra, these sages, they named his son Narayana. Now, will anybody name their son Ravana? Have you ever heard anybody naming their son Ravana? No. Because the Vedic process is that in whichever form, like the God says now here, I am the taste of water, I am the fire, I am the heat in the fire. Okay. Why he is saying all this? For constant remembrance, so that not even for a moment we are disconnected from God. All the rituals in the Vedas are for this purpose, so that we constantly remember God and we are attached to him in some form or the other. When we are eating, when we are smelling a flower, the fragrance of the flower is me. It will come now. I am this, I am that. The Lord is saying, so that we can connect everything to Lord. This is the purpose. I don't think anybody has named their son Shishupal or Ravana or Hiranyakashyap. After they were born, nobody has named their children after them. Why? Do you want to remember their characteristics of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana? Whatever 2.62 shloka number, whatever you contemplate, you become attached to that. And from attachment, lust develops. When lust is not fulfilled, anger develops. But here, when we attach to the Supreme, we are not talking about attaching ourselves to something material. We have to constantly try to attach ourselves to the Supreme and his qualities. And how we are going to remember his qualities? There is, on the absolute plane, there is no difference between body and soul. Krishna's name, form, pastimes, everything is as good as Krishna. It is the same. Now somebody might tell, no, I am Roma and my body is different. My body has this name, but I am different from this body. But Krishna is not like that. His name, his paraphernalia, even his pastimes are Krishna himself. This is declared in the Shastra. So how can his name be contaminated? The sun, the sun equally falls on everyone. Does it discriminate? That here there is somebody has passed stool, I will not fall on this place. He falls on that stool also, he purifies. And God, his name has so much potency that just by taking that name once, you are purified completely. That Ram se bada Ram ka naam, there is a story also about Hanumanji. where, out of some, there is, I don't remember it exactly, but out of some, um, uh, like the Lord has given birth to someone, he's taken a vow that anybody who does this, I am going to kill him. And Hanumanji commits that offense. I don't remember exactly. And the situation becomes such that Ramji has to shoot his bow at Hanumanji. And Hanumanji says, Lord, please go ahead. Don't, for me, your vow should remain. That isn't that devotion. If you see the highest devotion, Hanumanji. And what Hanumanji does, he just sits quietly there and he starts chanting Ram, Jai Shri Ram, 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 and Ramji shoots the arrow at Hanumanji. And that arrow cannot penetrate that circle of Lord Sri Ram's name. It cannot. This is there in Ramayana. So Ram se bada Ram ka naam. That the potency of Lord's name is so powerful that it purifies even the grossest of people. So much potency it has. That is why for Kali Yuga, the Nam Karna Sankirtan Yajna is recommended in our Shastra. It's not self-concocted by somebody or made by somebody. It is mentioned. Bruhad Naradya Puran. Harar Nama, Harar Nama, Harar Nama, Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, 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 Gati Anyatha. In the age of Kali, nothing will work. Only 3 times. Only the name of God. And here if somebody tells you don't name your child after God, what should we say? How can we accept his authority? So I think that answers.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I understand.
Yeah. So any more questions? So I have sent you the form and request that please try and mail to us your recorded testimonies. It will help us in spreading the message of God. These testimonies will be put on our website, your experiences about the course and about the knowledge of the Supreme. Please record it, take out some time for us. This is the only service we are asking, and a great opportunity for you to lend your hand in spreading the message of God. So please record your testimonies and mail it to us on a mail ID. I have forwarded the details to you. And also for those who are desiring a certificate after this course and who are attending regularly, you can mail your details and address. You will be sent a hard copy of the certificate duly signed by 3 ISKCON presidents at your address. It will be couriered to you. So kindly do the needful and also become a part of Lord's service. So thank you all so much. We come to the end. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuba evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namo. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.